Welcome to Source Material, a podcast where we tell each other funny and or formative stories from our lives and then make it into an RPG and play it out together. It's like a combination of long-form improv and collaborative storytelling and maybe a touch of group therapy. We're launching into a story today about preteen demons, an up-and-coming torture ingenue named Eidmar shooting for a spot in the Soul Harvest Festival, and the Torment Expo that follows, aimed at one mildly terrible human named Bob. I'm Maddie, and what is everyone else's name?
My name is Nathan, playing Bob, recently dead human.
My name is Emma, playing the character of Becky.
And my name is Erin, and I will be playing the character of Eidmar.
I was thinking we could have Cruella de Vil person in charge introducing Bob and being like, this year, it's this guy. He's done this, he's done that. And let's see what you all can do.
Yeah. Okay. There's a dark classroom. It's the first level of hell. So it's all these kind of minor demons just sitting in these like essentially classroom desks where the desk is attached to the chair and it's just annoying to get in and out of. And there is a demon who looks like Elon Musk's mom and ostensibly could be Elon Musk's mom. Very much Cruella de Vil vibes, who is standing at the front in front of one of those, what are those called? The plastic slides, and they write on, what were they called? The projectors.
The hand slide projectors.
Yeah, she's got one of those projectors. She's just kind of placing pictures in front of it. Welcome to level 1, the preliminary for the Soul Harvest Festival. Again, the higher-ups will be watching to see how you all do torturing. Let's take a look. Bob. His name is Bob. A recently dead human, big fan of fairs, which has inspired our expo today. Main sin, just kind of general negligence, a lack of object permanence. Never once has he turned off a light. When he walks his dog, he would pick up the poop in the plastic bag, tie it shut, leave it on the side of the trail, intending to pick it up as he comes back, and never remember to do that.
As you're talking, you're like putting pieces of paper that just show it's a serial killer or something, just like photos of him just dropping stuff behind, just walking away from a thing of trash that he's piled high for his roommates to take care of without actually taking out the trash.
You were gonna have a slideshow, but in like the classic substitute teacher way, after 30 minutes of fiddling with a projector, you couldn't get it to work.
Yes, exactly. And you all had to sit there and watch me try to do it.
And you called up like different students or different demons who like, you're good at technology, right? Figure this out.
There was never any slideshow. This was all part of your plan.
Everyone I called up to help too is actually terrible with technology, so I don't know why. She kind of keeps going. So, we're not going too hard on the fire and brimstone today stuff. Looking at you, Poxy. And there's a kind of shitty little demon in the back that goes, man. And Becky, the winner of last year's first level Torture Expo, who went on to do very well in the Soul Harvest Festival, will be joining us again. She'll be manning the dunk tank, as she has in previous years. And I know that you all have your own respective visions and ideas for your various methods of torture. And I just want to say nothing is off the table in terms of competition with each other. Try to keep it above the belt. But, this is hell. No real rules. And let's have Bob have a terrible, unsettling day at the fair, everybody. Any questions before we go?
Becky's hand is high up in the air.
Yes, Becky.
Yeah, I actually prepared my own presentation if I can come up and show it.
Oh, that was not asked. It's not something we requested, but please feel free. Yes, if you would like to.
I just like to go like above and beyond. And Becky comes up and actually has a presentation, pretty seamlessly connects the projector for herself.
It's like one of those fancy presentations, not just like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Eidmar is silently seething. Kind of like sulking in her seat, like mad that she wasn't the one to actually get up because she had also prepared a presentation. But she kind of rolls her eyes through her entire presentation.
The presentation is like very corporate. We have to get our sales up, numbers up, efficiency, get rid of waste kind of thing.
Synergy, guys. We gotta synergize our tortures.
Yeah.
It's not really competition. I know I win every year.
Yeah. Think of it like you guys just all need to step up to my level and then look at how efficient we could be. And like there's like a graph of just like if everyone was as good as me, and there's like a chart that's like going up.
And also it like shows people's work from last year, and you're like, here's how I would have done it better last year, for example.
I can imagine Becky at the end also being like, and if you have any questions, like if you guys need my help, which you probably will, like feel free to ask.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Poxy is just creating little like mounds of flesh and then lighting them on fire.
Yeah, just like tearing apart an eraser.
And then before Becky even has the opportunity to completely like finish, Idmar runs up there and kind of almost rushedly, like they had just kind of put together a little bit more than what they had originally planned. And just want to, thank you, Becky. We all know that you did like great last year, like wonderful. I just think we can really push the boundaries this year in our creativity. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do this year. And so, Becky, you're awesome. Everyone loves you. You're great.
Oh my God, everyone loves you.
Oh, stop it, Becky. So they just kind of go back and forth, petting you like, oh, you're amazing, whatever. But this year, I think if you can really push some boundaries, and I'm really excited for the opportunity, and I'm excited to see what everybody has this year.
Every time Idmar finishes speaking, Poxy is like, "Yeah, way to go, Edie! Yeah." And after this back and forth goes on for a little while, Cruella Musk stands up and it goes, "Okay, and that's all the time we have now. Stations, everybody. Bob has just died in a car accident and will be arriving at the gates to the fair soon. So, again, he's the only human being here today, and may the best win and move on to the exciting Soul Harvest Festival, where everyone wants to be every autumn in hell. Enjoy the southern, nice, warm day that we have planned here." Great. Okay. See you out there, everybody. I'll be watching. And she unfurls giant bat wings and soars into the sky and like rips through the roof. And everybody is kind of left to their own devices to go and set up for the fair.
Her son lives in like the bottom layer of hell, just doing like the most evil stuff.
Yeah. Who do we follow first?
Should we start with the old tried and true past winner?
Yeah, let's follow Becky.
Yeah.
What's the vibe, Becky?
So Becky's got her tried and true dunk tank. For the human, it looks nice and refreshing every time they see someone get dunked. But then it feels hotter after they see that. And actually, there's a mechanism where every time someone gets dunked, it does physically get hotter outside. And while this water feels nice and like might feel nice and refreshing to a human, it actually is really painful for all of the devils getting dunked because they're acclimated to like hell temperatures. So they're like, it feels horrible, like this horrible, painful, like
icy cold water.
So it's a win-win situation.
But there's a level of leverage that Becky has over all the other devils because, like, to keep the facade going for Bob, they have to do it.
They have to pretend like it's comfortable because they're trying to make it terrible for him who's hot.
Yeah.
And I think the whole time that you're doing this, overhead, there's a large, like a screen that would be in like a sports stadium or whatever, and it's just playing the moment of Bob's death. It's like he's driving a car and there's someone at the crosswalk that he's like supposed to be stopping for, but he just ends up not stopping for them. And the issue is that the person who was taking a turn thought he was going to, and so was timing it differently, and it just ends up in like Bob getting T-boned after blowing right by a lady at a stopwalk.
In that moment, all the devils just cheer, just, the energy is really hyping up because Bob will be walking down soon.
One of us.
It's like
one of them from the back is like, "Oh, can we put on all the Cybertruck best ofs again? Can we watch all those people die in the Cybertrucks?"
All right, just quickly until he comes.
And then Dane Cook.
And I think the way it works is the people who are just the attendees are like the lower level people who have their own torture plan, and you have to climb your way up to actually having a booth, which now, Idmar has like finally gotten a booth.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll see
yes.
just a little ways down, you'll see Idmar's booth. Not quite as high tech and flash as Becky's is, but it's strung together, and I'm standing there eagerly, like well tailored black vest, red flashy pants, best foot forward, and presenting my idea that is a pie throwing booth that can join in the merriment of the sugary sweet, and then also, pie your friends in the face, good old fashioned fun, classic. The kicker is it is really sticky. It's that sweetness that we all love, but it does throughout the day, throughout the heat, starts to smell really bad. And I did do my research, my market research in Bob, and I do happen to know that Bob does have an aversion to the smell of rotting dairy. So I think I should, it's for that market research. And Becky, I don't know if you looked into the customer or, our client at all, but I think that's a really important thing that shouldn't be overlooked. So I'm really happy, proud to present this to our person.
Idmar doing the research, very impressive. And what a unique aversion for Bob, not liking the smell of rotting dairy. So fresh and new.
That's actually what Becky responds with, Yeah, wow, must have been really hard to dig around and find out that he doesn't like the smell of a rotting
a human with
dairy.
a nose.
Idmar, Poxy is definitely just like Poxy does not have her own booth yet, so she's just kind of like posted up with you at yours. Like she'll have to wander around the fair at some point, but she's just kicking it with you. Like you guys are kind of homies in the meantime. And she's sitting in one of those metal folding chairs that actually does not have like a plastic seat on it. It's just metal and hot already. Yeah, you're gonna crush it this year, Idmar. I'm just so excited for you. Yeah, I think you're gonna do great, buddy. You're so smart. You're so clever.
Thank you, Poxy. You've always been a loyal friend, and one day maybe you'll also have your own booth. Maybe one day.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know. Like that's aspirational for me at this point. Obviously, I'm okay with like staying in my lane for a little while. And like, just Poxy, by the way, has like a really flattened face, a very Danny DeVito-esque. Just kind of is like, I kind of pitched to Cruella Musk that I could just like light him on fire at the end, but she thought that was too blatant, So I'm gonna try like fire ants. I think is kind of gonna be my thing. I'm gonna fire ants running around, and hopefully he'll step in one of my nests or something. So I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm not as creative as you. So
yeah, absolutely. You got your project.
Thanks.
Yeah, good for you, Poxy. Like if Idmar can get a booth, you can totally get a booth someday.
Eat shit and die, Becky.
Igmar just glares back at Becky with like a smile, but definitely a two-faced sort of smile.
Poxy goes and whispers into Idmar's ear and just like starts talking shit immediately. Can you believe her? Like she's so fucking.
I like to think that there's a couple of little kid demons that you've hired to just constantly target Bob.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all kind of just standing behind in a little mob,
Yeah, they're just like listening to your speech, your rallying speech now.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should cut to Bob at the entrance to the fair. For all intents and purposes, Bob sees a fair in any small, southern town.
Yeah, I think there's a long line to get in, but besides that, it's a warm day. It's already a little bit balmy. In that kind of weird dream way, he doesn't remember getting here, but he loves fairs, and so yeah, this all kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's here by himself, and he has a little backpack full of food and drinks and whatnot that he's not supposed to bring in. And he's just wearing shorts and polo shirt that's already kind of getting a little bit sticky and sweaty from the heat as he's kind of tapping his foot in line.
One devil from the imaginary parking lot like got out of the car like at the same time as Bob, and they kind of made awkward eye contact and like gave each other the nod, and then just like ended up walking like at the same time and the same pace to the line and ended up like next to each other in line. Will they have a conversation? Like, won't they? And the devil turns and is like, how you doing? Excited for the fair?
Yeah, I like a fair. Big fan of a fair. Heck of a line, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Traffic too, huh?
He kind of like takes a couple of small steps forward to just like put his shoulders ahead of yours so that it looks like you're behind him in line and we're not in the same spot.
The devil gets weirdly close again and is like, got any kids?
Well, nope, no, none myself. Just enjoy fair for a fair's sake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
All right.
What are you gonna do when you get in there?
He looks ahead. What's going on? What's like stopping the line?
I feel like there's somebody with a bag full of stuff they're not supposed to bring in that's being rooted through very slowly.
He tries to change the subject. He says, some people just don't know how to go to a fair.
Don't I know it? Well, I'm getting a call. Hold on. And the demon pretends to go on a phone while occasionally glancing up and making awkward eye contact with Bob.
I also like to think as this awkward conversation and interaction comes to a close as they get closer up to the front, they're taking entrances and, getting Bob checked out. I think he makes it through with all of his food and drink and contraband. But as he enters, I think they give them like complimentary, a tote bag. And inside the tote bag is some commemorative stuff, but it's really just like kind of useless stuff. And you rummage through. And there's actually, in the tote bag, there's just something a little bit wrong with everything. Like there's a tiny hole in the bottom of the tote bag. So if you like were to put any of your stuff in it, like it will eventually fall out. Something in a bag that like a resealable bag where it's got those marks that it's like says cut or tear here for easy open, but there's actually not a notch, so you'd actually need scissors, but they don't give you any scissors. And
just like using his teeth sailing.
Yeah, and he like can't get into any of it, but and then now his hands are like really full with all of this complimentary stuff that he doesn't actually really want and doesn't do any good as he goes in.
There's also complimentary noisemakers, like a little kazoo
that just everyone is using.
And little clickers and little, like, just every child at this fair is constantly making some, like, grating noise with their plastic harmonica or whatever.
The first thing he's going to do is open up the map that was just given to him of the fair. And he's going to open up the map of the fair. He takes a pen and starts trying to mark off his route. Okay, if I want to hit the cyclone, I'll have to make sure that I head to the right first here. And he's just trying to make his little route. And he's kind of standing. He just took the map and stood right in the middle of where everyone's entering in and is just working out his route.
I think one of the first booths right at the front is just kind of a classic dude in a white and red striped jacket, like Music Man style, like the monorail episode from The Simpsons. If you know, you know. He's kind of standing behind a booth where it's like throw the rings onto the bottles. And weirdly enough, everybody's doing really well at it. And he beckons over to Bob and he's like, "Hey, come on by. Throw a ring on the bottle, why don't you? Hey, you there. You look like an enterprising fellow. I'll give you. You get a nice prize if you get a bottle on there. A ring on the bottle."
He's looking at the map and he says, "I'm not sure I got time, sir. There's a whole lot of stuff I got to see before sundown."
"Oh, trust me." And the sky darkens a little bit and the guy's like eyes narrow and he goes, "You've got time."
He says, "All right, sir. All right." And he starts walking begrudgingly over.
"Throw a ring on the bottle and you get a prize."
He looks up. What are the prize? What's for offer here?
And weirdly enough, you can't see it. Yeah, there's no like plushies hanging on the walls or anything. It seems to be left intentionally blank.
All right. He has to set a whole bunch of things down on the ground. It takes him a little bit because he's just has so many things in his hand already. He's like folding the map away while carrying a tote bag in his backpack. Finally gets it all down and he's going to give it a toss.
And miraculously, just like everyone else around you, you get on the first try.
Oh, hot dog.
Oh, very nice. Oh, he's hot. He's got a hot hand. All right, you want to do it one more time? You get triple the prize if you get 2 in the first 2 tries.
That's just good math.
That's right.
He's feeling good. He throws another one.
You throw another ring, you get it right away, and the guy's, oh boy, hot dog! And he reaches underneath the thing and he hands you 3 plastic bags filled with live goldfish, one in each one. They're
Oh,
cumbersome. They will surely die throughout the day of you walking around the fair. You have an
it's so
actual
hot already.
life.
Like the water is warm, like the water in the plastic bag.
It's so hot already, clearly. It's all right, you have a good one. And kind of
Oh,
turns
this
away.
water is not very clear, sir. It's a bit cloudy.
Oh, and he's talking to someone else already. That's right. You get 2 in the first 2.
Yeah, so now he's already like a menace because the way he has to walk while carrying all these things while not caring if he bumps into people is just nearly hazardous, as he now is determined to get to the first ride.
One person he does bump into is a small child who says, Mister, help, I can't find my parents, Mister, please help, help.
Oh, here's a goldfish, son. And he gives all 3. He tries to give all 3 goldfish to this kid.
I am clinging to his legs desperately, and I don't have hands to take the goldfish because I'm attached to you like Velcro.
He's gonna look around and see if he can see any kind of security person or, anyone who was wearing a uniform at all.
Yeah, I see security there posted up, leaned up against one of the gates just along the side. Well, they look over at you. They're just chewing very loudly.
Young man, he tries to wave you over. We've got, excuse me?
Yeah, well, what's up? What's up?
I think this child is lost, and he's just like pointing down to the person clinging to his leg.
Is this not your child, sir?
No. I don't have children. I'm just holding.
So what are you doing with the child attached to your leg?
No. He starts trying to like push, not like push the kid, but like hold the kid's head while like moving his leg in a way to like separate. But he's once again holding on to goldfish, etc.
If you need to do something with your child, there is the daycare services down the way. And
sure. Let's go to the daycare.
Just point in a vague direction down that way.
Yeah.
As soon as you like put your hand, as soon as Bob puts his hand on the child's shoulder to kind of like lead him somewhere else, another adult comes by and goes, "Get your hands off my child! What are you doing?"
Oh.
Mommy, this guy tried to kidnap me. I've never seen him before. Help!
I can see that, Jerome. Why don't you stick to your own dirty things, you son of a bitch?
Stranger danger.
I know,
darling. I'm sorry. That was so scary.
With the goldfish, as if to like be like, just take these also. Do you want these, child? Never mind. And he's just, never mind.
The parent kind of talks to the security officer. As Bob walks away, he can see the parent talking to the security officer, like pointing at Bob and being like, that one and that one.
Bob notices a pee stain on his leg from where the child wet itself while clinging to his leg.
How is Bob feeling so far about their experience?
I think he finds a bench, even though he's not near the ride he wants first. He finds a bench, puts all his stuff down, including the goldfish, and undoes his backpack, takes out a water bottle he's not supposed to have, pours it on the pee spot by like his ankle or whatever where the kid peed. He's just washing it out. And he's just kind of shaking his head. And you see like he is angry, but then by the time he's done like washing his pants and shaking his leg, he's kind of fine. And he's just like, all right. He looks around for the map again while he's sitting on this bench now for a sec.
I think back at Eadmar's booth, Poxy turns to Eadmar. This might actually be my chance, Eadmar. I'll be right back. And kind of runs over and sends like a line of fire ants to try to start crawling over to Bob.
Nice.
I also like the implication that we're like Disney employees, where like we have some kind of update on where Bob is at all times. It's like high tech. Everyone's just like, all right, he's sitting down, guys. He's sitting down on the bench.
Yes, absolutely. This might be an opportunity for a roll, Nathan, where I wanna see whether or not my fire ants get to you before you stand up. What do you think? Is this worthy of dice?
Yeah, why not? I think it could be like the first amount of, damage or whatever else going on. So would that be my physical for how quickly I can gather my stuff back up and get out of here?
Yeah, I think so. Versus I don't know, maybe it's mental where I'm trying to descend, get my fire ants to come get you.
All right, so we're both rolling with advantage, looks like.
All right. Okay, I got an 11.
17.
Okay, damn. My fire ants miss you.
Yeah, the real problem is that even though she just got a booth, she's like all the way on the other side of the park, so you had to run pretty far to get here. And he's already gathering up and going.
As you walk away, I kind of like light all of the fire ants literally on fire in frustration, and then I run back to Eadmar and I go, "Oh, Eadmar, I fucked it up. I didn't know. I missed the shot, man. Oh my goodness."
Foxy, that's all right. That's all right. You'll get them next time. It's
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll give the guy a breather, and let him sit on it a little bit, feel like he can recover a little bit, and then we'll send in some of our minions to go for the attack.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, Poxy.
Okay, you're right. You're so smart, Eadmar. I wish I had a big, powerful Papa Demon like you, and I don't know. You're so cool. It's just an honor to be your friend. So.
Absolutely, and then
is it an honor to be my friend?
Oh yeah, Poxy. I feel
Okay, yeah, I believe you.
She's like looking around, like not really looking at Poxy, but like kind of looking over the head as they're talking. She's mentally kind of prepping, looking for her moment to actually send in the minions. So then she soothes Poxy there a little bit. Yeah, sure. And then kind of turns to go to some of the waiting minions in the back and then starts kind of whispering directions in their ear, hands them a small pie, which is essentially just a shot of whipped cream, but then, sends them on their way over to Bob to attempt a first hit.
In the background of this, Becky had come over to taunt you guys, but she overheard the conversation, and even though it wasn't flawless, even though Poxy, didn't get all the affirmation she wanted, Becky still looks a little sad, like, I wish I had a friend here, and walks back to
so dramatic, what a twist.
Yeah, Poxy definitely clocks that.
And then we cut over to Bob, who has gotten, after leaving the bench, he doesn't go to like his favorite ride first. That's like his culmination of his day. He goes to the closest ride on the map or whatever. What do we think like the basic fare his first ride is that he's in line for now?
The zipper.
What's the zipper?
It's just like this giant chain thing that flips people around. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one.
Let me look it up. The zipper.
Yeah.
We always called it salt and pepper, I think, at mine.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, these things are ridiculous.
Yeah, someone's always throwing up,
So yeah, that's what he's in line for first. As there's like these really small lockers, and he has to like use 5 different locker keys to put all of his stuff in before he rides each ride.
The people behind you are pissed about that too.
Yeah, but he doesn't really care. He's just sort of, doing it. It's like people are noisy here.
I think I weirdly enough, I know based on personal experience, I know exactly how this is going to go for Bob. So you interact with like a fairly regular man running the ride who doesn't pay you much attention as you get on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and it starts flipping you back and forth. Aaron, do you remember this ride? Do you know this ride that we're talking about?
Yeah, I did Google it. Yeah.
No, you're flipping as it's kind of going up and over, and it just kind of is getting more and more intense. We kind of reach a peak, and you're like the feeling. Everyone after going to enough fairs kind of has an innate sense of when the ride like should end, and you kind of like reach that point, and you're like getting ready for it to end, and it like just doesn't yet. And then like it's disorienting, so it's hard to make out like what's happening on the ground as you're doing this. You think you see like another carny coming over to the carny who's running the ride, kind of be like, "Why would you do that?" Like, just a vague, like you're doing something wrong thing. Bob can only wonder what exactly is going wrong. um, and then somebody else comes over and is like, "Oh yeah." They're kind of like, but then you're up in the sky again, and you're flipping over, and you don't know exactly what. You do hear somebody vomit. Who knows? There are plenty of holes in the grate, like on this ride, so who knows how much longer it's gonna last? Who knows where that vomit will end up? There's kind of a conference of three carnies down at the bottom, kind of like trying to work out what exactly is happening with your ride, but you can't get a beat on them enough to also yourself know exactly what is happening with the ride.
Can I try to just yell? I just want to like yell enough to get attention to make this stop because I feel like it's going forever. Hey, stop! It's gotta stop.
Yep. Don't worry. You hear from the bottom. What we should have done is have somebody be in here with you. Oh my God. You know who's in here with you is the guy that you were standing in line next to. You guys ended up in the same pod. And he goes, "Oh, I don't like this, man. I don't feel too good."
You don't look too good, man. You gotta hold on.
"Oh, I shouldn't have eaten all that fun. Okay. Oh, man." And then the ride stops. And you have to hang out in the air for another like 10 minutes as they slowly rotate through and let everyone off. And then nobody acknowledges what happened.
I look to try to find the like young innocuous kid who was running the thing to try to like give him a piece of my mind before after I gather up all my stuff. I'm looking around for him.
You get cornered. And after you gather up your stuff and before you can find him, you get cornered by a woman who's sharply dressed, wearing a clipboard.
Wearing a clipboard.
Or sorry, has a clipboard, like wearing a nice little outfit and stuff, and has a name tag with a little PETA logo on it that says, "Hello, sir. I noticed that you have acquired some goldfish at this fair, and I'd just like to talk to you about the proper care of goldfish. Each of those
do you want these
their
goldfish?
own individual tanks with their own individual filters, probably at least 10 gallons each is the only real way to take care of these. Otherwise, you're..."
He's holding them out to you. Oh, it sounds like you would probably you'd be the best probably.
No, sir. They've already formed a bond with you, and it's pretty inhumane of you to rehome them at this point in that attachment. But here are, like, she's like handing you aquarium supplies,
specific fish foods,
yeah,
or whatever. Cool. So yeah, he just leaves more heavy laden, and I assume is unable to locate the young kid who was running.
Yeah. Now you have some gravel and like a bunch of pamphlets on goldfish care. Also,
I think he wants to take a break from rides and maybe check out some other amusements.
Bob has gravel now. One of the things he's carrying is gravel.
Gravel, yeah.
Yeah, literally. Oh my God. Aaron, is Admar making any moves? Is this the moment for one of the kids to strike?
I think it is. Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that. So as Bob is gathering all of his things, he is bumped by two kids. They're running past and rambunctious play, and they're chasing each other around, and they're like exactly in this space that he's in, and they're like using him as like to hide behind, and they're like, playing like kind of like a tag sort of game. One of them has a pie in hand and obviously aimed at the other child. They're jumping across. Bob is very flustered by, these kids bumping into him and using him as a barrier. And the one kid winds up to throw the pie. Well, he looks like he's trying to throw it at the other kid. He's aimed straight for Bob. Does he hit?
Yeah, I think this first one, we don't have to roll. I think maybe like later he can try to be dodging, but for now, I think he's distracted with all of the nonsense going on around him. He's carrying a million things.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, the Bob gets hit with his first pie of the fair, and then Edmar is watching not too far away, but just like, it has like a notepad, is writing notes to see Bob's reaction to how well it hit, just making all the notes and that they can about how this first trial run goes.
Edmar, suddenly Cruella Musk is behind you. You didn't even notice her sneaking up on you. Very nice, Edmar. Surely when the milk begins to sour, his sense memory will drive him back into a nostalgic, terror-filled craze. I see you've done your research this year.
Thank you. That was exactly my idea.
Well done. A powerful conceit. It will be in the execution to see whether or not you're a leading Soul Harvest Festival candidate. I've got my eye on you, Eidmar, excuse me. I can't pretend that I know your name too.
I do that on purpose to mess with my subordinate.
Yes, that was a power move, and I'm telling you it's a power move, which is another power move.
Awesome. Thank you. That means a lot to hear that from you.
Linking in with like the sense memory, I think the kid who threw it looked like 1% like the old bully of Bob. And like each time he gets hit with a pie, it looks more like that kid who was bullying him.
Nice.
And Cruella Musk knows this too, and she points out that kid and she goes, "That was a nice touch. I see you've read the entire packet front to back. Most haven't."
I always do my research. Yep.
I see that.
Becky's just in the background with a single tear of jealousy.
Tell me, Eidmar, while I have you, if I were to, if I were to have you working on the second level of hell, and I had a man, somewhat akin to Bob, but more of a shoplifter, what would you put in his grocery store to tempt him?
Ooh. Well, I would, flustered a little bit trying to think on their feet. They're stumbling through an answer. And well, I would want to look at the research for what he's shoplifted in the past. But likely I would put some high quality items in a darker corner in the store, hoping to lure him into a false sense of security so that, he'll feel like he can take whatever. And then at that point, we would send in, his security or not his security, but the store security, kind of like fumbling through. They're really caught off guard. They're not very good at coming up with these on the spot. So Eidmar doesn't really feel good about this answer, but is eagerly watching the face. What's the name of our teacher?
Cruella Musk.
Cruella Musk, that's right. Okay, yeah. So eagerly looking up in the face, hoping for approval, but not feeling great about their answer.
You're met with a stone face, and she kind of taps her clipboard and goes, "Very well. Well, all in the execution, as always, isn't it, Eidmar? I'll be with you later." And she kind of, whirls into a fiery brimstone and then appears a few feet away at Becky's booth and kind of claps her on the back and shakes her hand. And they're laughing like old friends suddenly. Oh, Becky, good to see you again this year.
Eidmar is gutted. Yeah, Eidmar is absolutely gutted, staring over with absolute contempt for Becky. Yeah.
I think Bob, after getting that thing thrown at him, Bob kind of wants to, I don't know, he's got a bit of anger going, and he's going to head towards the dunking booth to see if he can get someone dropped in the water. Because right now it seems like a negative to him. So he kind of wants to get something back.
Ooh, and Becky, while talking / sucking up to Cruella, is going to ask, so, we need some demons for the dunking booth. Anyone you want to nominate?
Oh, what a good question, Becky. Well, I think I'd like to see Poxy go in there. Oh, here he comes. I'll see you later, Becky, for lunch. Are we still on for lunch?
Yes, we're so still on for lunch. Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, don't be too overeager, darling. Okay, see you soon.
Calling that out is so beautifully mean. The power move of telling someone they're being overeager.
Just literal Devil Wears Prada.
I'm actually now that you mention, I'm actually imagining Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada. She's somewhere across the fair being like, "I need an advanced copy of the new Harry Potter, please."
I think she'll play Elon Musk's mom in whatever movie eventually comes out, so that's perfect.
Oh my god. Absolutely. There has to be a scene later then where Cruella Musk is in the car with either Becky or probably Eidmar and goes, "Don't be silly, Eidmar. Everybody wants this."
Which one of them is a really boring boyfriend at home?
What's that? Oh my god, yeah. Holy shit. That is such a terrible part of the movie. She decides to be with her terrible boyfriend. She succeeds at her career. And
Also, her lame friends, right? It's both.
yeah, her lame friends suck and are holding her back actively. And she's like, I choose this life. And Meryl Streep is like, I could give you it all.
The absolute worst.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm eating a cookie. This is bad podcasting etiquette.
Don't worry, I won't cut it.
That's fucked up. That's devilish of you.
But anyways, Poxy appears, I think like as soon as Cruella says it, Poxy appears in the dunking booth.
As Bob like rolls up, what does Poxy look like to Bob? Like, you know what I mean? Sitting there.
Oh yeah, okay, some sort of appearance change for Poxy. I think Poxy looks strikingly like Bob's actual grandmother. um and is and is maybe looks an age where you kind of have to question like whether or not somebody this old should be sitting in like the dunk tank. like if she falls from this height, will she be okay? Like how much can she swim? She has this Southern Baptist ass dress on. Is like, will that make it? Will she drown in that? But she also seems pissed, and she seems disapproving. And she's like, like, oh, damn it, and like looks over at Eadmar like, lower on the low ranking. Here's what I get.
I think so. There's like probably one or two people or demons already there in line, like throwing the baseballs or whatever, and missing them. And then he's waiting his turn so he can try to dunk this grandmother.
Step right up, take your shots, here you go. Becky hands you some softballs to throw at it.
All right. I don't know. Do you guys think it's more interesting if I roll or if he just either definitely fails or definitely succeeds on some of them?
I want to say that you roll, but there's like disadvantage. Like there's something going on where Becky has a control that makes it harder for people to hit it.
How about we do like your mind versus my physical then?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So you roll. Oh, we both roll with advantage. So I'll roll first and you roll.
Okay.
So I got a 15 and Emma got a 13. So.
Well, oh yeah, okay.
So I think I have three, like you give me three baseballs. I miss on the first two. What does Poxy say, like, as I'm tossing the baseballs and missing them while you're sitting there?
Are you heckling him as grandma?
I think so. What, did your father never played catch with you?
Oh, snap.
Maybe Eadmar told you, like, some real things about him?
Yeah. Oh, this reminds me of that one time you were 6 and you were playing baseball and everyone told you that you had to throw it a certain way, but you just couldn't understand. And then you were left on the baseball field alone at night to bike home by yourself. And the neighborhood boys never thought you were funny or cool.
He's thrown the first two and missed them. He's about to throw the third, then he just sort of stops. And you see him, like, for the first time in many years, remember that? Because he's really good at pushing things away. And you bring it up, and he remembers it.
He goes, oh, are you too scared to throw the last one? So you're a coward, too?
And he hurls it at you, and it dunks you into the water.
And, well, we established this is extremely painful for Poxy.
Yeah. Especially you, because you're, like, even deeper.
Yeah. Poxy surfaces in pain and goes, well, you got me. That means you've got to get up on the chair.
Oh, those are the rules?
Yeah, somebody explained that to you, I have no doubt.
He looks at Becky. My turn?
Does this fit your vision for the dunking booth, Emma?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like a solid.
I think it would also work if like the water isn't refreshing, like it's weirdly warm now or something like that. So it's literally hot or something else bad.
Idea.
Yeah.
The nearby Bob sees that kid who was lost earlier, who had clung to him, who he is established to be a kid that pisses. And can see that this kid is soaking wet, which means he has definitely been in the dunk tank.
Oh, yeah, we just don't change this one around at all.
Oh yeah. So he looks excited. He gets up to his seat. He sees that, and he looks down into the water, and like we see from his POV, The water is just like looking, there's like a Band-Aid floating in it. It's a little bit murky. And like it looks really warm, especially because like a few demons have been dunked in here and they're hot.
Some hair floating on top, some mystery bubbles.
A thin film of scum that somehow already is there, even though someone just fell into it.
Cruella nearby appears behind Idmar again and goes, "And this, my dear, is why the dunk tank ends up at the top of the list every year. It gets worse as the day goes on."
Oh, that's part of the film.
Yeah, that's why it's cloudy and filmy, is because people have already been dairied and then dunked.
Ooh, the smell of the dairy is in the water.
Yes, in this way, Idmar, doesn't it seem that Becky has stolen some of your thunder?
Synergized it, maybe? Synergized?
A bit of synergy?
I think that's actually very accurate to the real story, too. I think there was probably some whipped cream there.
I hate that so much.
That's so bad, Aaron.
Your thing is infecting other booths.
We're describing this.
Yeah, the other booths, everything has a little bit of whipped cream on it.
We got to get the dodgeball synergy in there too, because you mentioned that also made everything worse.
Oh my god, what was the dodgeball?
You said people like were playing some game that made all their hair like sweaty, and then the sweatiness plus the dairy. Was it dodgeball or something like that?
Yeah, it was like wall ball, which you do play with the dodgeball.
Eventually, there should be some booth that has like physical activity that makes everything worse.
Absolutely.
For now, he's looking really uncomfortable. Is there any way I could? As people are starting to line up, and like I think in the line are like, this guy looks like a professional baseball player. This person, you just like see him throw something and like hit it from a mile away, and that's everyone who's in line now suddenly.
Oh, but Bob, there's a prize. Don't worry.
Prize for me or prize for them?
Prize for you. You'll get dunked soon. Here you go. And he's like in there before he knows it.
Yeah.
As Bob is sitting right before he gets dunked, he looks up and there's a billboard nearby from a road that says, "Do you have your hepatitis vaccine?"
And it says, like, did you know that 77% of like locals have hepatitis, whatever?
There's another billboard nearby that says, "Waterborne illness is no joke."
There's just like, he's looking and there's just one after another of these billboards. And then maybe it should be like, Becky, you point out the kid who's been looking slightly more like his bully. Say, hey, why don't you try one?
Or maybe the kid is gonna say just something to rile up the crowd and be like, that's the man that tried to lure me away from my mommy. So like everyone's like really angrily trying to dunk you.
Or he just wants to disappear, so he's like, throw it. Wants to go under the water now.
There's also the feeling of a crowd wanting you to fail and be dunked.
Oh, or like a firing squad thing, or like you say like, okay, one time only special, 5 people at once.
No, I think that you have to sit up there with the discomfort for a while. Like the kid points that out and a bunch of people are eager, but like a bunch of them don't get you. So you just have to like feel the shame of this kid being like, that's the stranger danger adult, as like everyone's trying to dunk you and you just sit there on display.
And I think the camera, like if we're doing a movie, it like starts out where we see the whole crowd and me, and then it slowly zooms into my face, and we just, like, every once in a while is the thunk of a baseball hitting the wall behind it, missing, and I just, like, flinch every time, and the camera gets closer and closer, and I flinch, and also, then one...
As time goes on and the water settles, the film gets thicker and thicker as, like, the dairy rises to the top.
And then I'm just flinching, and then finally one, like, rings out as it hits the metal, and boom, I dunk in.
But yeah, it's the same temperature as the air, not a degree warmer or cooler.
And when I leave, it's like turned up 5 degrees somehow. The outside is like the humid is just like...
Yeah. Aaron, were you ever dunked like at the fair? Do you have that?
No, I never was dunked. It was pretty much just the teachers. But I think for them, at least, that was a pretty refreshing experience. And that hot water did probably, because I don't think it was ever really changed out.
Yeah.
Throughout, sure, it did get a little bit warmer, more uncomfortable.
Oh my god.
Yeah, as he exits the tank, Becky proudly walks up to him and says, "Great job, sir. Here's your prize, another goldfish."
Oh,
he sees the EPA woman, the PETA woman nearby, glaring at him.
clipboard in hand with like another gravel stone of
Yeah, looks like she checks a checkbox. And well, over by Eidmar, Poxy, now no longer looking like an old like Bob's grandmother, comes up to you and goes,
is steaming because from the water.
yeah, absolutely reeking. It goes, I don't know, Eidmar. Dunk Tank is kind of a hit again this year.
It is a hit for now, you're right. I think I've got something up my sleeve that we can top it.
Like what? Find out next week what Eidmar has in store for our poor antagonist / protagonist Bob. That poor son of a bitch has got nothing going for him right now. I wonder if he'll be able to turn it around and if Eidmar will make it to the Soul Harvest Festival. Here's a goldfish.
All right, our intro and outro music was done by Keiko Akato. Our wonderful logo art was done by Emma. You can find her at mshineart on Instagram places. And you can find the podcast at Source Material Crew on Instagram and other various places.
And thank you, Aaron, for being our friend.
I'm waiting for these fire ants to take off.
Oh yeah, something's gotta happen.
Too slow. You just picked like a slow
These
animal.
fire ants
I did. That was my because usually I can just light people on fire. It sucks having
I
the
thought
slow
fire
ant.
ants, fires fast, fire ants fast.
Right.
We see a montage of them always being like one step behind wherever Bob is as he leaves.
Also, as soon as Bob tries to like brush them off himself, the PETA lady will be like, "These are endangered fire ants."
Oh, no.
That's good. Okay, love that. Keep this energy for 2 weeks from now.